if you're exhausted right now and just tired of everything and just want that exit from this reality, just want a lot of people in spiritual, metaphysical communities are talking about ascension or this process of like elevating above and beyond where we're at. If that sounds really appealing, there's an important thing to think about or consider. And it was brought to my attention by Mel Lawson, another creator. I'll put the link to her video where she talks about this process of ascension. Now, I want to preface this, like before you go dive in and look at the video, is that I'm still treating this from a sort of experimental standpoint. I believe something is happening, and I think it could be this ascension process that many are talking about. I'm not 100% sure. I've become more doubtful recently than I was before. So I'm not saying that that is true. But I am presenting this as a thought experiment of like, if you are a person who, like me, is like, oh man, this place, you just watch what's going on in the world and you're frustrated, and maybe your own situation isn't that great, whether it's finances, relationships, just whatever it is. And you're saying, let's go to this beautiful place that is better than this. Like, let's escape this. Um, then this, I want to throw this out there because Mel triggered this thought, and I've had this thought before. So let me start by saying, months ago, many months ago, I got a download. I mean, I regularly have those nowadays. And so I'm in conversation with higher guidance. You could call it guides or whatnot. And in this, I said, well, where are we headed with all of this? What is this worth it? Like all of this stuff, this chaos we're going through, I've likened it to a kitchen remodel. And the answer I got is heaven on earth in all caps was the download I got, that's where we're headed. And I was like, oh, what a relief. Like, if that's for real, and again, I don't 100% trust it. I'm like, really? For real? Like, come on, people. Are you serious right now? But in any case, sometimes I believe it more than others. But heaven on earth, it sounds awesome compared to what we're experiencing. But then other times I have gotten into this mode of thinking about all of the times that I've had insight, I've had clarity, I've had the aha moments of like, wow, I went through something bad. I made mistakes. I was acting stupidly, whatever. And then I get to a point where I have a real aha. I have an insight. I have one of those growth moments. And then I go, maybe, when I used to drink, go have a glass of wine or a beer or something. Now that I don't drink, whatever. It's still going and celebrating in some way, relaxing and just, I got through that. I did that. Even something like, I love whitewater kayaking. I'm about to go on a whitewater kayaking trip again. And I love it because it's the challenge of it. I mean, I can go out and paddle on flat water on a lake too, and that's okay. I like that. It's nice and pleasant, but it's not the same as going and looking at a rapid on a whitewater river and saying, how am I going to get through this? And challenging myself to be able to do that. Especially at my age, it's become more challenging. And so this is something that so many of us experience in our reality. And though a lot of us, I think, myself, are in a mode of like, yeah, we're sick of this stuff. We're sick of all the politics and all the economic challenges and the war and the this and that and the other thing and the nefarious people who seem to be doing a lot of bad stuff. It's easy to be sick of that and wish for heaven. But I think we have to be careful what we wish for. And that was the fundamental idea behind Mel Lawson's message. Because again, I've been like, well, wait, if everything was perfect, if I could just really like if I need something to eat, it's like boom, materialize it or something. We really got to a place where it was that magical, which is stuff that she's described. And again, I'm not saying that I fully believe that that's real, but I can see how that could be where we're headed if that whole model of everything is correct. And it's like, oh wow, that would be interesting. That would be very easy, but it strikes me also as a bit like people I know who are entrepreneurs that have made a lot of money and then retired, like they sell the business or whatever, they move out of the business and then they go like live at the beach and hang out at the beach. And for the first 6 months or so, it's like great, living at the beach, sipping margaritas, having a good time. And then the boredom sets in. And for many of them, they can't do that for more than 6 months at a time before they're launching into the next challenge. And so Mel's point in her video was that it's really important for us to appreciate what we do have here, appreciate this contrast, appreciate the challenges that we have here in this reality. So my take on it is I don't want to create a total heaven in the sense. I don't want to create or live in a total heaven. I think that's why this spirit comes into this body, is to experience this. So is there an in-between solution? That's my question to this. Because there are those who present this model of truly moving into this sort of idealistic space, and then others who talk about an in-between space and so on and so forth. And who knows what's actually real and all of that, because it's fragments of messages from different channeled people, and it all could be bogus. I don't think it's all bogus. There's definitely something going on. But anyway, so my thing is like, well, if we're creators who are creating this as we go, it's not like a pre-created thing for us, but we're actually manifesting the change, the shift, and what comes next in terms of ascension, movement upwards, then what would I like to create? And I think my biggest thing is I would like to create a reality where, yes, we can still face challenges. We can still face situations that initially maybe aren't to our liking. We can make mistakes. We can do dumb things. And from doing those mistakes and those dumb things, we can learn from them. But what I do want changed is the systemic control and negativity being eliminated. See, that's the thing about this reality that I think is truly the thing that troubles me. It's not that we face challenges. It's not that we have disagreements. It's not that we have arguments or see things different ways or whatever. But it's when that gets turned into like a systemic control. And I sound like one of those, little bit crazy people. Crazy isn't a great word these days, I know. Sorry for that. But it's I sound like one of those people who's a little bit off their rocker, but I have come only in the last 6 months to a year to the idea that there are people who have sort of hijacked this whole system of reality that we exist in to turn it to their advantage. And that there's a lot of systemic sort of, you could call it convincing people, brainwashing would be another word, that has really convinced so many people. And this is not just on one side of the political aisle. I want to emphasize that. While there may be certain sides in politics that seem to exhibit this trait more clearly, I have also noticed, like here in the United States, that the other side of the political aisle succumbs to the same exact problem. It's just not as obvious. It's much more well hidden how that works. But in any case, that we live in a reality where there's so much of this systemic negativity, fear, limitation, lack, just making us all think that we're not powerful, that we're not magical beings, thinking that we are that there's something broken or wrong with us from the moment we're born, and thinking that people who are different from us are, that there's something wrong with them, having fear that turns into anger, that turns into hate towards other people. And so much of this stuff is systemic. And that is the problem that I have with this reality. So maybe you can join me in creating, in manifesting, in visualizing a reality that is truly free from that stuff. Not a reality free from challenge, free from interesting opportunities to grow, but a reality that is free of this systemic manipulation of our thinking and of our energy that directs us towards thinking we are weak and powerless, which is totally BS, because we are not. We are powerful creators. We are powerful souls. We are powerful consciousness that came into these bodies, and we are here to create and experience from those creations. That's what we're here for, and it's time to get back to that. And that's the reality that I want to create, and hopefully you'll join me in working towards that. All right, that's the message for the day. I was just inspired to speak up. I haven't talked a lot recently on the socials because I've been going through a huge evolutionary process, and I think it's time to get back on here and talk about it. So I hope you'll hit that subscribe button if you're not already subscribed so you can hear more. There'll be more coming. And like always helps promote the video and get it out there too. All right, this is Morgan signing off.